Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Melissa, but subscribers can call me Missy. In today's video, we are going to be reading this antique self-help book that I found at the thrift store. It is called Personality: How to Build It by H. Laurent. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe this will change my life. Maybe it'll change your life. So let's get into it. Hi there! Welcome to Emerald Tower Books. I am Oz, the great and powerful. Tell me your name, tell me your desires, and I shall find the perfect book. My name's Stuart Pitt, like Brad Pitt, no relation, except for everyone calls me Stu. Stu Pitt. Yep, that's right, that's me, Stu Pitt. Well, Stu Pitt, what are your desires? Well, I was looking for something to build up the old intellect while I was out there on the farm. Say no more, Stu Pitt. I have just the book for you. Gee whiz, keep your brain alive. Thanks so much. You're welcome. It is from the Mental Efficiency series. It is a nice looking book. It's not in pristine condition, but it has some really pretty spine details. It is a little dented, a little frayed. Opening up the book, you can see that these pages are broken a little bit. Translated by Richard Duffy. Personality is a talisman which brings success and triumph. Funk and Wagnalls Company, New York, London, 1916. Copyright 1915 by Funk and Wagnalls Company. Printed in the United States of America, all rights reserved. I was trying to find in the Copyright Office or just on the copyright website whether or not the copyright on this is still in effect or not. So I couldn't find any information. If somebody out there can find the information, that would be great. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and read it. And if it turns out that the copyright is in effect, then I will take down this video or something. We are starting at the preface. Personality is defined as the qualities or characteristics, personal traits or attributes peculiar to some individual. Specifically, it is that quality which sustains poise through self-control in the face of propitious or unpropitious circumstances. I believe propitious was fortunate or unfortunate. The man who is calm and cool, who is master of his actions, of his voice, and of his looks, and of his gestures, is he who commands his true self, and can assert that individuality which is respected everywhere as the root of all that is sincere, just, and good. Personalities are not acquired by dreaming, but by hard work. Self-help is the hammer with which they wax poetic. Self-help is the hammer with which they may be forged on the anvil of life, each mind following its own method. Give me a standing place, said Archimedes, and I will move the world. But it was the immortal Goethe? He was a German philosopher, I believe, who changed the postulate into the precept. Make good thy standing place and move the world. To Epictetus we owe the warning that in schools of wrestling, when a contestant falls, he is bidden to rise and to continue wrestling daily until he has acquired strength. So must we do the same if we wish to avoid failure, and do not wish to find ourselves swept by the torrent of affairs into the abyss of oblivion. That particular lesson is something that we learn a lot from comic books. In the Dark Knight series, they had that whole thing, Bruce, why do we fall? And then so that we can get back up again, or something like that. Thomas Carlyle was a firm believer in personality and, as a firm believer in the power of man to mold his life for himself. Oh, Thomas Carlyle. Well, I mean, if Thomas Carlyle was a believer in it, so must I be. Said he, man is not the creature, but the architect of circumstance. It is character that builds an existence out of circumstance. A man who lacks character is a man who can never hope to acquire a personality. I'm not sure how the words character and personality were used at this day and age, but they feel fairly synonymous. Just saying. But let us not forget that character and personality have two sides. Even as character may be good or bad, so also personality may be famous or infamous.
The infamous El Guapo.
What does that mean, infamous?
Oh, Dusty. Infamous is when you're more than famous. This man El Guapo is not just famous, he's infamous.
The history of the world from the dawn of time down to the present day is full of examples of both types. The man and the woman who wish to create a pleasant and an engaging personality. Ooh, the man and the woman who wish to create a pleasant and engaging personality and to impress it will find enumerated in the following pages the qualities that are indispensable to the attainment of their aims. The author of this work, Mr. H. Laurent, has made a deep study of his subject, which he presents to the reader in a comprehensive and convincing way. The book is divided into two parts. The first, consisting of 6 chapters, is devoted to personality, how to build it. The second, hang on. The first of 6 is devoted to personality, how to build it. But there's more than just building personality. I mean, the whole book is called Personality, How to Build It, so I would have assumed that the whole book was Personality, How to Build It, but no, apparently the second comprises of 5 chapters, treats of how personality, once acquired, may be exerted advantageously in business as well as in home life. Well, of course, once you get a tool, you must learn how to use it. Cautioned against possible errors, the reader is advised to exert energy, to show sincerity, to pay attention and observe, to exercise perspicacity? To exercise perspicacity, to be determined, and to persevere. In life, the most difficult task, the author tells us, is to sound one's own soul. That's actually, I feel like that's pretty true. Honestly, I'm like, how many people are like, I don't know exactly who I am. I feel like that's me. I'm a different person day to day. I mean, the world is full of people who perform this task always to their own advantage. This, the sincere reader must learn to avoid. Hang on. Perform this task to their own advantage. Oh, I suppose he's talking about the infamous personality would not just worry about their own advantage, but also the advantage of others. He who builds others up also is built up, and he who tears others down may only be a story high, I guess. I'm just thinking metaphorically, right? If you are the kind of person who builds other people up, it's kind of like building a building. You've got levels and floors and all kinds of things going on versus if you try to get ahead by tearing others down, you end up with a rather flat construction. My own ramblings. The world is full of people who perform this task to their own advantage. Okay. The sincere reader must learn to avoid. He must eschew arrogance and self-conceit. Intense self-assurance is always a danger to every man and to every woman who harbors it in the character. They must learn prejudice, exercise judgment, practice diplomacy, and show tact and delicacy in all their dealings. Yeah. No lies there. Personality is a source of wealth that springs from within. It is a noble quality that requires one to make great sacrifices before attainment. I'm not sure they mean literal wealth, right? Because I've never had wealth spring from within me. Wouldn't that be nice? I can just vomit money. Its secret lies in the winning of others by personal study, adroitness, and tact. And of these, the greatest undoubtedly is tact, for although it is not a sixth sense, it is the mainspring of all five and controls the quick eye, the alert ear, the keen smell, the sensitive touch, and the acute taste of man. That got a little spicy. Would the reader command a personality? Let him heed the advice that is offered in this little book. Here, painful truths are presented in gentle terms and expressed no further than to produce the necessary impression. May he accept this good counsel and reap his reward. The publisher. All right, that is, they got a lot of strong promises. I was promised wealth, I think. I was promised personality. I was promised strong character. I was also promised that I would have to work really hard, which I'm not sure that's my jam, but we'll see. You get as much out of it as you put into it. So we are going to continue with part 1. Hello? Hello, this is Emerald Tower Books, and I am Oz, the great and powerful. My name's Wanda Hart. Wanda Hart, what do you desire? Well, I'm into aliens, but I want to get into romance. Wanda Hart, this book has aliens. It has romance. It has a lot of heart. This is the book for you. The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 5 novels and 1 story. Thanks. I'm excited to read it. Farewell. To think oneself somebody is a folly. To create a personality is power. Wow, now we're being promised power. Ooh, I kind of like it. It's very, I mean, you know, like to have a strong moral character, to be the kind of person, I suppose, that other people want to know, want to be around, gravitate towards. And in that sense, I suppose the promises of wealth and power are actually, I tend to read things skeptically as a critic rather than just soaking everything in. So I apologize if I am too flippant in my criticism. It may not be fully deserved. All right, chapter 1. What is personality? The word personality describes that which is personal. Yeah, I think it is The word personal takes up the majority of the word personality. I wonder if there's something lost in translation here. That which belongs to one human being only. The more I've gotten to know the world and people, the more I've gotten to understand that I am not unique. And there's actually a lot of comfort and humility in that thought, which I do need because I tend to be rather prideful. So the humility that comes with that knowledge is a blessing to me in my personal personality. To have personality means to possess one or several qualities, one or several defects. Uh-oh, I don't want to be defective. Hopefully they'll help me figure out how to use my defects to my advantage. Or even a turn of mind, an original character not like that of others, but truly one's own and free from imitation. Basically, they're going to teach me how to be a manic pixie dream girl. That's my dream. To be a personality is to be one who is distinguished and recognized among a crowd by some trait or moral, intellectual, physical, or simply practical. And in this case, it sounds like they're talking about personality in terms of celebrity, I suppose, right? A film personality, a radio personality, a political personality. One beautiful morning in May, I walked slowly down the Champs-Élysées. I'm guessing this person that wrote this is French, maybe? And I'm sure I butchered that word. I mean, those words. I'm sure I butchered those words. A great many people, like myself, were taking the air. There were men, women, children, nursemaids, along the avenue, coming and going past slow-trotting cab horses, fast automobiles, and heavy autobuses. You know, that is such a fun little detail for this little, you know, like this is kind of the first time that I've really felt like I'm reading an antique book talking about slow-trotting cab horses alongside automobiles and autobuses, right? The fact that you would have cars and horses on the road at the same time, whereas nowadays you generally only expect to see horses. Suddenly appears a curious carriage drawn by two pretty white animals, to whose dancing pace chimes the cheery music of small bells. All of these trappings seem to be very material, right? Like the white horses, the bells, all of these things are carefully constructed. And so I'm not sure it necessarily indicates a very sincere type of personality, but more an affected personality. The aspect of the commonplace street changes. The promenaders have lost their habitual street look of sameness. Some halt. Some look round. Others step readily toward the curb. Some stand up on the seats where they had been seated in quiet gossip. Nursemaids are stirred and move about. The children stop in the midst of their play and gaze round them with astonished eyes. Yeah, right. Not my kids. As a song borne upon the breeze, so a name floats from group to group and comes at last to me. Inwardly I say, why, it's Madame Réjeanne, the actress, with her white mules. The monotony of life is broken for the moment. And why? Because something has happened. Because a personality has passed. The equipage is original, and the actress who rides in it is not an ordinary pedestrian. My walk led me to the house of a friend who was having a reception day. The drawing room was crowded with the usual commonplace crowd one sees at an afternoon affair. Men and women gossiped and flirted with too much of a sameness for one who is a bit of a dreamer, and in a quiet way, somewhat of a misanthrope. One is introduced, one bows indifferently, one yawns on the sky. The doorbell rings. Enters a little old man in morning dress. He is the famous Professor X. Professor Charles Xavier. Oh my gosh, he's at the party. Sorry. The X is meant to be a stand-in. He doesn't actually have an idea necessarily. I don't know. Anyways. Monotony instantly vanishes. The drawing room no longer yawns with its many small commonplace people. There is now present a personality. Hello. Hello. Who are you? I'm Dorothy. Dorothy, tell me about yourself. Well, I'm from Kansas. Is that all? Yes, that's me, Dorothy, from Kansas. Dorothy, I know exactly what you need. This is the book for you. Personality, how to build it? Study it well. Yeah, I guess that's fair. What is personality? There are two kinds of personalities. Only two. Forget about your ENFJ, your ETNP, I don't even know those. Anyways, there's only two. Two kinds of personalities. First, those that force themselves forward and stand out among the crowd, distinct from the rest of the community by their qualities or their defects. They are good or bad personalities. Secondly, those that have standing by favor of endowment that makes them independent, such as a name, rank, fortune, etc. So either you're a personality because you're just an interesting person, or you're a personality because privilege, essentially is what he's saying. When the name Pasteur is mentioned, in a flash your mind signals his personality as a benefactor of humanity and the discoverer of the serum of hydrophobia. You recall the great services he has rendered to the human race. Pasteur is a good and useful personality. When someone says Curie, you think immediately of radium. You think of the usefulness of this discovery. You recall the death of Curie. You know Curie. You say to yourself, his was a good personality. Too bad he should have been accidentally killed. So sad. His was a good personality. Too bad he should have been accidentally killed. He was a genius to serve mankind. Too bad. The death, so tragic. He may no longer serve us. And you continue to regret his untimely end. If somebody mentions Victor Hugo, you think of the works of the noble poet. You smile at the recollection of certain pages once read with emotion. Yes. Such recollection. Actually, yes, Victor Hugo. Les Miserables. It's a good personality. Too bad he should have died. He could have lived forever. So sad. Inwardly, you offer deep thanks for all the beauties revealed to you by the vigorous pen that enabled you to see life from a standpoint of nobility and feeling. If one mentions Lamartine, you find yourself dreaming of sunsets, of the clear waters of crystal lakes, of the death of Socrates. Oh wow, that took a turn. Of Héry, and of many and many a beautiful thing of his that you have read, learned, and clung to with a sort of sweet rapture. Lamartine conjures up within you sweet sadness, purity, youth. Actually, I have no idea who Lamartine is, so sorry, doesn't conjure up anything for me. Should one speak of Zola? I feel like Zola is I don't know who Zola is, but it sounds familiar. Should one speak of Zola, your dream changes to what is brutal and cynical in life, somber and deceptive. How do you characterize Victor Hugo and Lamartine? You say they are good and noble writers, meaning they are good literary personalities. The impression and the memory of these men live in their works. One is sublime, the other beautiful. Of Zola, you say with a shudder that he was a man of talent and also of personality. He has done his work. Is it good? That depends on the reader. Bad? It may be. Perhaps it is hurtful. Perhaps useful. Assuredly, you will have any enthusiasm about it, for the impression left by it is strangely melancholy. Zola personifies for you anguish, suffering, frightfulness, life in terrible rawness. I like this author telling us how we should feel, or how we do feel. This is how you feel about Zola. Let me tell you. And perhaps he's right. Perhaps he knows exactly how we all feel about Zola. Anyways, I am going to leave off there at that comparison, and we will continue this book in a later episode. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. If you liked anything about that video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you would like to see more of what I do sewing, I do art, I do home improvement projects, and I do random things like this. So please hit that subscribe button, and then you can follow along, and then I can see you in the next video. Bye. I am Oz, the great and powerful. Where are you going? Scaredy cat? And then we can all build our personalities together and get rich and famous. To Epictetus and expressed, no, okay. Is there anything that says how long that was?